Hey, we're doing this animated profile pic, and I will make an attempt to go through and do something in this process. The way you create your animated profile pic might be a little different depending on your idea or how you just work out your process. But I'll attempt to create one that's about the same idea as this example I put up here. Got to start in this pixel art program. So I am not going to demonstrate how to get your profile picture off of the school district's website. I can show you if you want to, but I think it might be a privacy issue going through that. So let's try something. First of all, I have already downloaded my profile pic. So I'm going to start by opening a photo. And the ones that the school district has for you are not super high resolution, but they're much higher resolution than you need. So part of the process, this is going to be resizing what we have here. All right. I found it was easier to move this into the center of the picture before I do this. Resizing. Now, it looks like the school profile pictures are 200 by 281. So we're going to go make something that might work better for this assignment. I told kids before 100 by 100 is a pretty good size. And let's see what happens. If I resize it like this, he's pretty big. So I might change that a little bit. I'm going to go 200 by 200. And that worked out pretty well. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do with this one is work with some layers. So I'm going to go check out my background layer right here. I think I'll add a layer on top, but I might change the names of those. In fact, I'll probably create one that I can use as my real background layer, and I'll change this to, this is going to be kind of like the base part of the face. F-A-C-E. And I'll probably do some stuff up on top of it also. Let's see, I'll make sure that this layer is selected, and right now I'm going to delete a bunch. This is a way that I found was a little faster to delete stuff, erase pixels. Then I'll go in and do some kind of finer details, erasing inside and around the stuff. So I'm exposing the transparency grid. Probably some other ways to do this too. One thing I tried was using the bucket tool and hitting clear pixels, but it only gets little bits of you. So yeah, it wasn't the best way to do that. I'll probably go in and tighten it up a little bit with eraser. I want to get clean edges on this a little more than I want to have soft interpolated edges. So I got my eraser at full strength because one of the times that I did this, I ended up with a lot of almost visible pixels that were also just a little too noticeable. All right, I'm gonna go in and reduce my pixel size down and do a little more detail. Now, one of the reasons why I'm going to be so particular about getting things like I want it in the first frame is we're going to save a lot of time by reproducing our first frame in most of the other frames anyway. So if I did something that I realized later on I wanted to go back, I would most likely have to go back and change it on a whole bunch of frames or undo a lot of my animation work to get back to a frame that I can copy anyway. So let's say I'm pretty good with this, and I'm going to test it out by clicking on the background and adding something contrasty. Oh yeah, I don't want to be flood filling clear pixels. All right, I'm checking to make sure there's not a lot of stuff visible around the outside. And if there is, I might go back and just tweak a couple of tiny things. All right, we'll say we're there. Okay, I'm still going to make sure that I'm working only in the first frame and doing something in a layer on top right now. This one says layer 2. So here goes. At this point, I'm going to start to add a couple of features or effects or things that change. And at this, I'm going to make something I can change over time. If I do it in the first frame, I won't have to redo all of the information later on. At this point, I think I'll start adding some frames. Yeah, once I've added a frame, I'm now working with an animation project. So another thing you can do to make things easier on yourself is to hit the lock frames panel, and all of the animation frames will stay. Now, at this point, since I have added a frame, anytime that I want to go File and Export, it's going to make me do a GIF file, graphic interchange format. To work with my idea, I think I'm going to be better off, instead of just adding frames, I'll be better off by starting to copy frames. So, take my first frame and hit copy. I have 2 instances of the same frame now, and I think I'll start doing some stuff with this. Let's go add. This might have been a better idea for me to do earlier on, but I'm adding another layer, and this one is going to be. It's going to make sure the name of this layer tells me what I want to do with it. It's actually supposed to be under layer 2. So I'll keep it under layer 2. In this particular object, doesn't exist in the first frame. That's okay for me right now, because I'm not going to utilize it in the first frame. I'm going to do a little bit of an effect that ends up being between the white that I created there and above the face that exists there. Got to work with a couple of controls on this spray and get something that's going to work for me right now. See how fast it sprays. That's pretty good. I think I can work with that. I'm going to try to work with it underneath the white feature. So it looks like the white is like a bright glow, and it has a little bit of other effect. Here's where we can start to really play with some stuff. I've got this frame, which I think is going to be fairly clean when it plays. Got this frame, which is kind of like the end point that I want to end up at. So I'm going to make some that happen in between those. I want to do it in the fewest steps so I can kind of show off the process a little. So let's do this. I'm going to take this and copy it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That works for me. On each of these 5, I'm going to change just a little bit. So on 6, frame 6, I think I'll keep things just like they are right here. On frame 5, all I want to do is take layer 2, which is the white part, and reduce the opacity by about 20%. So changing it to 80. All right, and can't really see a whole lot of it. On frame 4, I'm going to reduce the opacity another 20%, so it's going down to 60. And would I have to be exact with that? Nah. Let's go down to 40. Next one, reducing opacity down to 20%. One mistake I know I just made there is working in the wrong layer. So I need to go make sure that I did it to the correct layer each time. If I change the opacity on under 2, it's probably fine. and probably fits with kind of like the overall scheme anyway. I just didn't realize I was doing that. This one was 60, I believe. All right, this one, I did the 80 thing, and let's turn that one down too. Let's see what it looks like for now. Probably don't need that frame. Let's preview it. All right, this works pretty well. So I'm going to continue to mess with this. First of all, I'm going to change some of the frame timing. Let's go make this happen for a full second. Any of the changes happen. These are all 1/10 of a second, so 100 milliseconds. The other thing I want to mess with is, I think I'll take the under 2, which is the green kind of outer glow, and I'll make sure that's selected. Do a little bit of erasing on it at kind of like low strength, so it kind of makes a little bit different of appearance. Making sure I'm only working on under 2, and you're probably not going to see a whole lot unless I do that. I want to make this seem like it blooms a little bit as it goes through, and I played around with this kind of concept a little bit. You can barely tell right there. It's going to be more noticeable the further through. Only working on under 2, and I'm just kind of going in with this kind of light touch on the eraser, getting rid of a little bit of that. Hopefully it kind of, we're showing how it might be a good idea to make a first frame and then a last frame and then work on some of the stuff in between. So not getting rid of as much of it now, leaving a lot of it there. But I do also kind of like the idea of having it twinkle just a hair. I think I have something I'll keep doing with a few more frames. Okay, next one. Making sure I'm working on that correct layer. Let's go just work with single pixel eraser. Making a little bit of it a little more transparent. Add a few things so it feels like it's just a little bit different version. Maybe they'll bounce around a little bit. Okay, this one, pretty much where I wanted everything to be, but I'm gonna probably go touch up a little bit. Make it crackle a hair. Let's see. I think I'll copy the last one, and I'll make a few different changes to it. So adding and just kind of playing around with it. So I have like 2 different variations of the idea, I think, and maybe I'll be able to go back and forth between them. That might be fun. I don't want to have too many versions of these dots where there's 2 that are the same color that are right next to each other. So I'm probably going to go get rid of some of those. Okay, if I have that one and that one. Okay, let's recopy this one. And I'll do this sort of the same thing with, and so I can hopefully get my crackle going. Let's go make that a little bigger. I want my 2 frames that it goes between to kind of not be exactly the same, but feel like about the same density. So yeah, gonna go back in, add some of those. Oh, pixel size 1. Not single pixel. Okay, yeah, just make some of these a little bit less. And I do want to go single pixel and full strength. Get rid of that one. Maybe that one. All right. Between these 2, I think it needs more again on this. Go add a couple more. Hopefully they're not in exactly the same spots. Okay, boom. Yeah, that works pretty well. Okay, between there and there, yeah, that kind of moves. Let's put one right there. Okay. We're going to preview it. Might turn these down also. And I'll make this even more. All right, 500. Preview it. Yeah, something's going wrong. So, all right. This frame. I don't need any of this stuff on top. Okay. That makes more sense. Let's preview it again. So he's sitting there. And I start glowing. Okay, cool. It's working pretty well. I think what I'll probably do with these two is have them cycle back and forth for a little bit. And I'll just have to go, let's see, I need a bunch of copies of 7 first. And then I probably need a bunch of copies of 8. Now, how am I going to be able to tell where I put them? That's a good question. I might have to do it one at a time. 8, I need 8 to go, not be 9, but be 10. Copy frame.
20 minutes later.
All right, let's preview it. There he is. He's just sitting there. Something's starting to happen. Oh, whoa. Okay. It keeps going. All right. Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's about what I was going for. Let's go file, export or download. I could probably download this at 200 by 200. It'd be fine. If yours is 100 by 100, it's probably fine. If it's a square, it's probably fine. Depending on where you're trying to put it. That would be the only problem. I'm going to download a .gif file. And we'll check it out. So, if I open it with a browser, like Safari, there it is. Ooh, 10 seconds of nothing. And then something happens. Holy smokes. If you name your file and you turn it into the Google Classroom assignment, that's fine. If you want to go all the way and put your profile pic in your Google Classroom, I can help you do that too. That might be a separate video. It's not too hard. Hey, thanks for watching.